Kia ora, ko te Whaanga hau, I'm Te Whaanga and just about to talk to you about our Wharekai at Te Aroha Marae, and basically all about all the star themes and the Ātea or the space themes that we have in here. So it's matariki time at the moment, and down here in Ātea we talk a lot about Whaanga being our star of the new year, our tohu, but we've got matariki holidays, so we're going to have a little bit of a koorero about all the stars that we've got and all the themes that we've got here across our marae. So up here in the Wharekai on our Q uta side, this is the Q uta side of our whare, we have a whole lot of stars represented by these star faces up here. And we have matariki as the first one. We have the rero stars, which are part of the kokota or the Taurus constellation, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have Taumata Kuku, which is the big red star in Taurus as well. Or the spade, we've got a bit of bigger there, the spade. And then we come up to the next one and we go to Pitu Kāpō. These are all part of the constellation that is to Waka Aorangi. And that's what we're celebrating, that waka where Taramai Nuku comes and collects up all the songs. But the boat itself goes from the tauihu, which is the matariki, to the tauraka, which is puanga, and tautoru. So we have taumata kuku, Pitu Kāpō, we have Ātea, which is Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse, whatever you like to say. The red star right down at the bottom of the pot, but we call it Putara. Putara, Tautoru and Puanga, all part of the Orion constellation. And then we come across to Puanga up here, and finally Takurua, which is the brightest star outside of the sun in the night sky. So yeah, that's Takurua, not part of the Wakarangi, but it's just a little bit further around, and that's Hende Takurua, who married Tamanui Te Rā, which we're going to talk about shortly. So in the Wharekai we've got, this side of our whare is called Tahaki Uta, or towards the land, and it also sort of represents the summer stars. We have Rehua and his two wives, which are Huhitarangi and Whakaongi. They're part of the Scorpio constellation, and so also is Tamariri, which is towards the stinger of the constellation, where you will have that waka of Tamariri. Tamariri is also up here in as this figure here. There's a bigger story around Tamariri. We also got 7 stars that they call the Mātiki stars, that are a recognition of different parts of the summer months. We have a pattern up here that's in our heke, Ngā Whetui Te Rangi. And that's a real, you see the cross-stitch pattern on all of our tukutuku panels, and it also represents our stars here. So those heke, every second heke represents all those stars in the sky. So your tribe should be like, they say, as numerous as the stars in the sky, and that means you've got a really healthy tribe, numerous. And then we have the urira, or the lightning strike through the other hekes in our Wharekai. So that's that side. Main figure, one of the big figures in our Wharekai is Tamanui Te Rā. And here's Tamanui Te Rā in the morning, and really vigorous, getting up to do his mahi. And then he goes across the sky in what we call the piko o te rangi, or that curve or that pathway that he takes as he takes his journey through the day. And then he ends up in the night where he looks pretty tired, he's pretty exhausted, and he returns into the way ora patane to be reinvigorated, and in the morning come back up and start his day. And that's Tamanui Te Rā. It's interesting, on either side of him there are hautama patterns. Hautama patterns are also very synonymous with the different rangi, or we might just compare them to 10 or 12 heavens, depending on what tribal affiliations you are with. But that's, we're in the lowest rangi, or the lowest sky, and then it goes back up right up to the uppermost heaven. And that's why it's important that those hautama are up there. Tamanui Te Rā. So Te Waka Tamariri is a really important theme here in our Wharekai. It tells a story about, one of the stories about how the stars got in the sky. So he goes down, he sees the Aurora Australis, which is up there. That's he sees that light shining up in the sky to the south. He's a very curious man. He wants to go down south and see what that is. So he takes with him his crew, and that one down there, that basket down there represents his crew, and there's two other baskets that represent the two tōhunga that were on the waka as well. So Tamariri goes all the way down south. He sees the island or a land with white cliffs falling into the sky, into the sea, and he discovers that day turns into night and it stays night for long periods of time. And then he decides to return, but he chokes on a krill and he dies down there, and his crew bring him back to the Aotearoa. But as he was ready to land on shore, a storm came up and broached the waka. He fell out along with all of his crew, and they all drowned. It was only the two tōhunga that lived to tell the story of Tamariri and how they went to the south and found what is considered that they found Antarctica and the ice and the icebergs and all that falling into the sea. Anyhow, they gathered up all the waka and they gathered up all the floatsam and flotsam and they burnt it, and the wairua Tamariri rose up into the sky and become the stars. And our baskets represent those upturned baskets of the floatsam and flotsam and everything falling out, and the stars being, that's how the stars were created. So up here we've got Te Marama. Obviously Te Marama is really, we use Te Marama as part of our maramataka, the monthly cycles and the different food gathering times throughout the month in the sea, whether we go, what times to go into the sea, what times to plant crops. So Te Marama is really, really important. And you've got the waxing and the waning, so you've got the tamatea moons and you've got the tangaroa moons up here. He's in the process of being very angry with Rona, who cursed the moon. Obviously, they quoted about cursing the moon when the moon went behind a cloud, and the moon heard, got upset. The third time of the curse, he decided this wasn't good enough. He reached down to grab Rona and take her up into the sky, or back up into the sky and into the moon with Te Marama. And you can see in the stars and the moon now, you can see Rona, a naiau tree, with naiau tree outside, a calabash, and she is in the moon. That's, I figure he represents Te Marama reaching down, ready to grab Rona. And we have all these meteors, comets, shooting stars. And one of the main ones is Te Ahituro, this one here that reaches down and has a relationship with the Mawika, and hence fire comes to earth and then ends up in the fingers of man through the Maui incidents, through the Maui stories and all that. So basically our Wharekai is about the Ātea, or the sky, and the environment, and how it interrelates with the ability to go out fishing, the right times of the month to go fishing, the right time of the year to do things. This is a story about cycles of life, cycles of collecting, and and it's got to interrelate, and all interrelated, everything's interrelated. We've got Tāwhiri Mātea, we've got Tangaroa, the gods in here. You can't go and get the kai, you can't get kai, and the famous kais that we have down here, then you can't provide manaakitanga for your guests, and then hence it's a little bit of your reputation's at risk. So we're just about ready to jump inside of our whare nui and talk about, there's a wee star theme in here I'd like you to have a little bit of a listen to. It's all about ladies from about 1830s, 1840s. There's a lot of sailors and whalers around at the time. And we have obviously as Māori, have a great tradition around being able to voyage on the sea and using the sea, going on Tangaroa to catch a kai and stuff like that. But one of our families are fishermen. And behind Whare Tutu here is this tukutuku pattern here. And that's the star, it's designed as a star pattern as well. And also when we go on the ocean, we use our stars for navigation. There's also a koorero about here when sometimes people get lost at sea. Sometimes they get a bit of a hand from whoever that might be, from the spiritual realm, and then they see thin lights turn up, or not thin, but wee lights turn up out of the ocean, and they know, oh, that's where I've got to go if they're lost, you know? That's where I go if I'm lost. So that was a wee koorero about why this was created as a tukutuku panel, and as a bit of a signal, a bit of a helping hand in navigation of the sea and the stars, and from strange events.